Hello, my name is Dr. Ruthie. I'm a professional sexuality educator, all bundled up now that he's seen his shadow. And we have six more. I just said 6 more weeks of winter, and we have 6 more weeks of winter coming our way. Excellent. And I blog over at exploringintimacy.com. I'm the author of The Nice Girl's Guide to Talking Dirty, but thanks to the fine folks at funwares.com, who may be the official sponsors of the next 6 weeks of winter. I'm here answering your questions on sex and relationships. So let's get right to your questions. This one is from Rhonda. She's got quotes around it, so I assume that's her safe fake name. Rhonda, help me, Rhonda wants to know this question. It came briefly, so I'm just going to it came long, so I'm going to make it brief. So the question is basically, Dear Dr. Ruthie, I used to like to have really rough sex and be in charge. But lately I'm feeling like I want more sensual experiences, perhaps where my partners are initiating more. I'm afraid that this makes me look weak because all of my lovers know that I like to initiate and I like things rough. I'm afraid they won't respect me as much because I am taking a more girly approach and I don't want them to see me as girly. Can you help, Rhonda? Rhonda, absolutely. This is a wonderful question because even for folks who aren't experiencing this exact same situation, it really touches on something fundamental, which is that our sexuality changes across the entire lifespan in lots of ways. And in fact, women or female-bodied folks with female hormones, research suggests, have the most changes in our sex life. Including some times of the month being attracted to more masculine or more feminine folks in those stereotypic researchy kind of categories. And across the lifespan, in fact, feeling more or less bisexual, same-sex attracted, or heterosexually attracted throughout the lifespan. And it may not be enough to say, hey, I've had a shift. I think I'm attracted to a gender I wasn't attracted to before, or I'm attracted to every gender. Maybe something very mild that just influences your choices within your typical genders, or it could be major, right? And what you're experiencing, although this may or may not be a transition in your gender attraction or even in how masculinely or femininely, I hate those stereotypes, but I'm kind of at a loss for better terminology in a short video. So even how, to those extents, one way or the other, your partners are presenting or behaving. It might not even be as major as that, or it could be, depending on your case. So it sounds to me like you are having one of these shifts in your life. So the first thing I want to mention is that you'll probably continue to shift and change. This particular thing may last your whole life, and other things may shift around it. Or you may find that this particular thing doesn't shift, or does shift. And this is not to say that sexual orientation is impermanent or a phase, so I don't want to give anyone that idea. It's kind of tweaks within that. So anyway, regardless of the fact, how you're feeling is absolutely real and absolutely valid and should not be a matter of politics. You should get to be who you are, regardless of, how people interpret science or pseudoscience or whatever the case may be. Getting off my soapbox about that. So it sounds like you're having this kind of a shift, and it's taking you by surprise. So the first thing I want you to know is this is totally normal, and this doesn't have any sort of impact on the quality of person you are or the quality of lover you are. It is just a shift in where you get to explore and where your next growth edge, if that isn't too cheesy, might be sexually. Imagine that you had no shifts or changes in your sexuality, little or big, throughout your entire life. It could get really boring. There wouldn't be as much to explore or to discover. Granted, there would still be plenty to explore and discover because we're pretty dynamic. But if humans' brains were just born set with a certain sexual way that, popped into play, whenever in adolescence or adulthood, and it just was like that with, once you've discovered it all, once you've read all the pages, there's no more. There's no point in reading it again. That would be really dull. So what we're finding is on a second reading, or maybe with a whole new book, we have a little bit of a different story to explore here, and that's very exciting. So my first thought is I would be curious to know whether your concerns about people having less respect for you are your personal concerns or other people's expression of their concerns and their respect. If it's other people, it might be time to sit and have a talk with them about being more accepting and more understanding of what sex is really like for people across the lifespan. Sounds like they have some places where they could grow up and really could use some education from you. Or just ditch them and get another group if that's an option, whatever you choose, or somewhere in the middle. So that's my first thought. If it's your thoughts about yourself, it might be time to sit down and if you're a writer, write, and if you're not a writer, just kind of imagine or draw or whatever works for you. And think about, your own stereotypes around the masculinity and femininity, or the roughness and softness, whatever the case may be, of sex, and your own stereotypes around the value with that. And making kind of a list for yourself, and then asking yourself, where did those preconceived notions, those assumptions come from for you, and are they really in your best interest? Really break those down, and you, I suspect, will find that a lot of them need to be processed through for you to have a better, fuller life, and maybe with a therapist, maybe with a friend, maybe with yourself, whatever the case may be, but that they're not in your best interest, and that they are holding you back from kind of having the joy and fun and exploration in your sex life that you deserve to have. So, also, as you're looking at these lists, how do they get assigned towards girly or not girly? I don't think those are going to be in your best interest either. If the notion is that a less rough style is more girly and thus has less value, what does that say about being female and what we're limited to and what our value is all about? There's a lot of power in girly things. A lot of girliness makes the world go round in a lot of ways. But also, there's other things to explore with that regarding gender. So taking a look at those things. Also developing for yourself ways to stick up for feeling strong and valid and valuable in girly ways. Find the strongest girly people you can find. They might be in your friend group already, and they might be people that you're just contacting because they wrote a book or something like that. And ask them how they combine being girly with being powerful, and see if that inspires anything for you, or find books that they've written on the topic. And, the first couple answers may not be what you're looking for and may not be useful. Hopefully they are. But if they're not, don't stop looking. It just means that you need another perspective on girly power, or another perspective on what you like and how it's powerful and doesn't need to be ascribed to being girly if that's what you want to get away from. I'm Dr. Ruthie. I hope that these ideas are helpful for you. Go out, enjoy yourself, screw what other people have to say. The worst thing that could happen is if they control you and your enjoyment of your pleasure and sex because of these ridiculous stereotypes. Who wants to live their whole life running from what other people think in a way like that is not made to be good for you? Dr. Ruthie, have a bunch of fun, enjoy yourself in all the ways that you want to, and explore in all the ways that you want to. And I'll see you at the next video.